Hello, my name is Francis Fox. I'm a trained remote viewer. I was trained as a psychic spy since a child, not my choice. I was volunteered since I was little. I'm using these skills now to do what I want to do, which is to discover how to make life easier, how to reduce human misery, which, by the way, in Buddhism, when you dedicate yourself to reducing human misery and anguish, you can call yourself a Buddha, which I find really interesting. I don't consider myself a Buddha. Um, Today, we're going to be going back to the peace mantra, which is words that release the two things that create war or lack of peace, which is fear and hate. But before we do this, let me remind you that on this planet, intention creates reality. And the problem is, because you can ask, why have I created so many bad realities, so much negative in my life? We have subconscious intentions that we're not really aware of. They're subconscious. And they also create reality. And sometimes when they're fueled by fear, they're stronger in their ability to create than a nice, elegant, normal intention that we have. But I'd like to put on a very short 4-minute video that we have to where you can see the dynamics of the changes in the human assemblage of bodies when you are intending something. So just be patient and we'll get to the mantras in a couple minutes. I think you'll like the video. Okay. Those changes, that vectoring, those triangles is literally what happens to a part of the energy system that we have. Our center, which is in the shape of a chalice, like the Holy Grail, literally throws out vectors when we're paying attention to something or intend on something. And if a karate master can break a concrete block with his hand, which is literally impossible, then you can achieve the prosperity that you want or what you want if you have the discipline and the focus. That's why we're getting together 5 nights a week for you to train yourself. You go to the gym, this is mental yoga to back up your intentions. Intention creates reality on planet Earth. I'd like for you to assess yourself now from 1 to 10. How are you feeling now? And then at the end, do it again yourself. 1 is you feel miserable, 10 you feel great. Where are you at now? And then I'm going to show you a controversial, excuse me, when this happens, these are spirits that are bothering, because I don't have a cold. This dress was controversial 7 or 8 years ago. It was constructed in gold and white. Why was it controversial? Because a lot of people saw it bronze and blue. What's the issue? Why am I bringing it up now? Because your frequency determines what color you see it. If you see it gold and white, that's great. If you see it bronze and blue, your frequency is low. It's the same dress. And I repeat the same story. I always saw it gold and white, but one day when I glanced at it, it was bronze and blue. And I was like, who changed the picture? But nobody changed the picture. It was the same photo of the dress. But my vibration, my frequency had dropped because I had had a rage attack, which I was prone to, thanks to my wonderful personal history with military training as a child. And my vibration dropped. I could not see the gold. And that's the point of what we're doing today. The golden age is entering the planet. We're in a change. We're in a shift. Everybody predicts an awful transition, but then wonderful energies. And a lot of people call it the golden age. You're not going to get the golden age if your frequency is low. So that's what we're doing here today. Getting your frequency up. And we're using, as an excuse, the peace mantra. Let me show you what happens with the peace mantra. When I was a child and I had to work with scientists, they were very difficult. And the military was very difficult. And I was a little kid. I didn't have the language, neither did they. In English, you don't have the language for these things. So what I learned to do as a little kid was to sketch what I saw. So I can see at the level of energy where there is actually structure. Because there is structure. It's not just like this in the other dimensions. There's structure, there's form, there's intention, there's being. There is order. So I would sketch. So I do that all the time. And I decided a couple of months ago to sketch somebody. The changes in her as she did the intention mantra for peace, which we're going to do in a couple of minutes. And this is the result, which was so miraculous that I said, no, it's not possible. And everybody will tell you, I'm not an optimistic psychic. I'm not a positive psychic. First place, if you're a good psychic, you're not supposed to be positive or negative. You're supposed to be just getting information. It's supposed to be accurate, whether you like it or not. So this is what the woman looked like before she did the mantras. Those are her mind streams. You have 72,000 of them. They channel the nectar of your mind. In the Bible, it says that God pours nectar into you. It comes into the top of the head and it goes through these 72,000 strings. What I sketched was a massive depression that she had. That's not unusual today. Then she did the depression mantra. And see the strings, how much better they got? This was her before the depression mantra. This is her doing the depression mantra. These 4 graphics took 7 minutes. So she wasn't 20 minutes an hour, 30 minutes. No, the entire, all four of them, 7 minutes. Then I asked her to do the peace mantra, which is, please God, help me with my intention that there be a miraculous purification of the fear and hate. Um, and look how incredible. She has these congestions of chi. Chi is the God particle, which is a perfect balance of the four elements of fire, earth, water, and air. Her heart chakra, the green one in the center, it gets bigger. And the depression's gone. Now, again, this is all in 7 minutes. This is just with the peace mantra. And then I had her turn on the Fox sensory therapy, the music that's the trilling music, which is the sound that the mind strings make. She did the mantra and she put on the video, which you are going to be working with in just a few minutes. Look how incredible. See the line around the canopy? That's an extra protection. And see this, there's a spirit in the upper right-hand corner. You can barely see it. The spirit can no longer access this person. The heart chakra expands even more, and you see fresh mind streams coming off of the throat chakra, which is where most of us are very repressed. So with the peace mantra, not the depression mantra, and the video, which is music plus images, and earth energy is coming up. You can see it from the bottom. It is coming up into her energy system. So this is with the mantra, with the sensory therapy. This is just the mantra, excuse me, peace mantra, no sensory therapy. She doesn't have the protection. She doesn't have the fresh strings coming out of the neck, and she does not have earth energy coming up into her. This is with the depression mantra, which is looking really good compared to how she looked originally, which is like this. So you're going to have an opportunity to have those changes, and you should be able to feel it. 7 minutes, and we're going to be doing a lot more than that. The mantra is, please God, help us with our intention to miraculously purify the fear and hate. And then I have it in Spanish at the bottom in case you speak Spanish and you prefer. Mantras are repeated silently in the head. You blow the breath out through your mouth. So 2 feet on the floor. And if you want to really stack the deck in your favor, then go ahead and do the Apana Mudra, which is you take the 2 center fingers, hold the thumb like that, and then the back of your hands, you put it on top of your thighs. This wakes up the 3 lower energy centers in your body. You will be able to feel the difference. Your breathing will change. I don't know if anybody wants to share on the chat that they can feel the difference. So we're going to do 20 minutes with the trilling Fox sensory therapy video. And just repeat. There's no hurry, both feet on the ground. Relax, because this, you will be contributing towards world peace, but you are also yourself going to have a reduction in your fear and in your hate. Don't tell me you don't hate. There's so much of the fire element on the planet, and that is what fuels frustrations and anger and hate. It's not internally generated. It is coming from outside of us. So it's not that you're a bad person. It's that your system has been overwhelmed by an excess of one particular element, which means that you're not well. None of us is well today. The planet's not well. We're sick. So I'm going to turn on the music video now. Just relax and enjoy it. Remember, where are you at from 1 to 10? I'm going to put the dress back on 1 second for you to glance at it. Okay? And now let's go ahead with We did 20 minutes. It felt like 5 minutes. Um, how much more relaxed do you feel? From 1 to 10? Did the dress, was it brighter gold? I have to say that this would be a really good weekend for you to do this, even if you're not here with us on the channel. Apparently, the sun has released some X rated flares at an angle that potentially could hit planet Earth. X rated means shortwave radios could black out, regular waves could be interfered with, our computers, our cell phones. But more than that, the reason to do this mantra is there's going to be, if those solar flares do actually end up hitting planet Earth, there's going to be war. We're already at each other's throats. There's too many reasons why we think we need to defend ourselves or go after someone. That extra fire element, which is what solar flares are, potentially can tip us over into all-out conflict. And I'm talking about countries now, but how about your home? How about your business? I am watching a situation of a group of people that I know that are not in a really good place. And what I'm doing is I'm doing the mantra surrogate for them so that because they're vulnerable and they're ready to go at each other's throats anyway, I want to reduce that fire so that there doesn't end up being some kind of an incident or the time they spend together not be pleasant. It's really a lot bigger than something simply not being pleasant. So I suggest you continue to do the mantra throughout the weekend. And if those X-rated flares head this direction, you're going to hear about it, but you may not hear about it in time. Another thing that you do need to do is, and you should be doing it all the time now, when you're not on your complete computer, you need to unplug it. Not just turn it off. You need to unplug it because if there's a solar flare that hits very hard, it will go through the wire, regardless of whether the computer is turned on or not, and it will burn it out. There's something called I believe it's called the Covington event, I think it's the Covington event 100 years ago. There was a big solar flare and it burned out a lot of the radio waves. At that point, that was what was a big issue. Today, it's an entire electrical grid, all the computers, etc., that could be wiped out simply with one solar flare. And there is a potential now with this particular solar flare that is not quite pointed in our direction, but could be. So I hope you feel better because it's not easy, the level of stress that we're living in. And the quality of your frequency determines whether the intentions that you have work through. And they also, how you're feeling determines which of your intentions you're going to energize. Because, like, if you really want to kill your brother-in-law because he's just like so whatever, that extra fire can push you completely over, not to where you would kill him, even though you could, because you cannot kill anyone unless you have too much fire. It's not possible. That's the only thing that will push you to that. Remember that the fire is the energy of the devil, and that's not just symbolic. Okay, so thank you for joining me. We will be possibly on tomorrow and the next day, but we're committed to Monday through Friday, and we will try to be on X. And I appreciate you joining us. Okay, I'm Frances Fox. Thanks for sharing the time with us.